Hello, welcome to the HND Business and Finance Revision class. We are going to solve case study 2025 question 1. So this is the question before us. We are going to go straight away to the role required. As we work, we'll be analyzing the question. So we have the first role required is that we should present the invoice number 031. So we can have our solution. So presentation of invoice. So we're going to have an invoice. So let's look at it this way. The first thing, we know that we're going to have the supplier's address here. We have the supplier's address and the invoice, and then we have the customer's address. And just to remind you that the supplier is, this is the supplier here, and then we have the customer who is so for us to go fast. So now we have to present all of this. I will not go into the details of presenting the reference, description, unit price, quantity, but I'll just go straight to where we have the unit price and the quantity and the unit price and the amount. So that we can go a little bit faster. Okay, so I'm going to have this. So we're going to have this is a presentation of the invoice. Okay, we're going to have this. We're going to have something like this. So we're going to have straight away our the unit price here. After the unit price, we're going to have but let's take the quantity unit price, and then we have amount. Okay, we're going to have amount from here. So when we have our amount, we're going to have this as an amount. Okay, so let's go ahead. After amount, we have 5 items. Okay, as I'm seeing. So we have the first one. We have the second item. We have the third item. We have the fourth. We have the third item. We have the fourth item. We have the fourth item. And the fifth item. Okay, so let's go ahead and field. So we're going to field now. We're going to field. So we have the first one. We have quantity. We have quantity and unit price. Quantity unit quantity. Unit price. Okay, let me just made a little bit of mistake. Let me just put amount here. So I'll go a little bit faster. We have amount. So on the amount, the first one that we have is 300,000 of tea. So we have 300. So the quantity here should be 300 times. We have 300 times 600. 300 times 12 because we have a dozen. So I'm going to take the 300 times what? Times 12. So we have the quantity will be 12 times 200, which give us 3,600. So we're going to have 3,600 here. And then the unit price was 100. So if we multiply 3,600 times 100, we're going to have 36,000 francs as the amount that was paid. Okay, that's good. Now let's continue. The next one, we have 12 bottles of Locazette at 2,000 francs per dozen. So in this case, we are supposed to do some rough calculation because they say we have 12,000 bottles of Locazette at 2,000 francs per dozen. Okay, let's look at it this way. Let me solve it down here. So I'm going to say one dozen is equals to 1 dozen is equals to 12 bottles. Okay, 1 dozen equals to 12 bottles. So if 1 dozen is 12 bottles, so now how many dozen? So how many dozen are we going to have for G here? The G will be the number of dozen for the 720. Because it was 720, 20 bottles. So we're going to cross or multiply. So we'll cross multiply. We're going to have a D here will be 720 all over 12. So when we divide 720 by 12, we're going to have 60. So we're going to have 60. So the quantity will be 60. Okay, the quantity will be 60. And then the unit price, they say the unit price is 2,000. So we're going to take times 2,000. So it will multiply 60 times 2,000. I'm going to have 120. Okay, 120,000. Now let's go to the next one. We have 2,000 dozen of Romy. At 2,000 dozen of Romy. Ref 2,000 2,000 dozen of Romy. Ref R6 2,000 dozen for half a dozen. So this is how we are going to solve the question. This is how we're going to solve the question. We are going to first of all try to calculate the number of the quantity, because we know that the unit price, they already told us the unit price 2,000. The unit price should be 2,000. Okay, so we know that the unit price is 2,000. The problem now is calculating the quantity. Okay, the quantity of Romy. So I will do some rough calculations here again. I will say, okay, we know that if 1,000 is equals to 12 Romy. Okay, 1,000 equals 12 Romy, and then 2,000 dozen will be equals to 2,000 times 12, which will give us 2,400 Romy. Okay, so if they give us 2,400 Romy, then we know that they took half. Okay, so if they took half, so half now will be so half of 12 Romy divided by 2 will be equal to what? 6 Romy. That's a half. So now we are going to have the total number of Romy that was bought, the quantity. We are going to take 2,000. We're going to take 2,400. 2,400 divided by 6. So it's going to give us 4,000 Romy. So our quantity will be 4,000 Romy. So we take 4,000 now. So if we multiply 4,000 times 2,000, we're going to have 8 million. So we have 8 million here as our amount. So let's go to the next one. We have 500 laminas. So we know that the quantity is 500 and the unit price is 5,000. So if we multiply uh, 500 for laminas, we multiply, because you see 500 laminas reference for 5,000 francs. Okay, no, this is a mistake I've made here from first. What we're supposed to know to do is that we have the quantity is 5,000. Everything was bought for 5,000. Okay, that's what I think. So we should have 5,000 here. So we take 5,000 divided by 500, which we're going to have 10. Yeah, so Oh, that's the unit price should be 10. That's correct. I think so. Yeah, we are on the line. So let's go to the next one. We have these bundles, these zinc bundles of zinc. We're going to see 10 bundles of zinc. So, and then we know that a bundle, a sheet costs 2,000. So in this case, the quantity should be 10. We have 10 here as the quantity. Okay, we have a 10 here as the quantity. So now the unit price, okay, the unit price now should be, we're going to take 50 times 2,000. So let's take 2,000 times 50. So the unit price should be 100. Okay, so here we have a unit price of 100. So when we multiply this time, you should have 1 million. So this is all about what we've calculated. So now if we sum all this amount that we have had, 360,000 plus 120 plus 8 million plus 5,000 plus 1 million, we should have a sum total of 9 million 485,000. Okay, 9,485,000. That is the total of what we should have. So now this is our gross amount that we have on the screen. 9,485,000. 9,485,000. So we are going to now apply this reduction. They said there were reductions that were given, as we can see on our screen, to discount. So let's go ahead. We'll open a new board, okay, and work out. So welcome to this side of the board where we are going to try to apply our rebate. So I know that the gross amount, they've told us that the gross amount, okay, we have told us that the gross amount, the gross amount, the gross amount is 9,485,000. Okay, now we're going to have a rebate. I'm sure you're following the question. We're going to have a rebate. Our rebate is 10%. So 10% of this is going to give us 948,500. Okay, and then we have a first commission. First commission. First commission. As we know, we are going to subtract. So when we subtract, it's going to give us 8,536,500. Okay. So after the first commission rate, we're going to go to our trade discount. Also, trade discount of trade discount. Our trade discount was 20%. So 20% of that will give us, if we calculate 20% of that amount, should give us 20% of this amount. It should give us. We have this commission rate, so 20% of this amount should give us 1,707,300. Okay. So now after that, we're going to have a second commission rate. Second commission rate, which will give us 8,536,500 minus 1 million. That should give us second commission. It should be able to give us a second commission. It should be able to give us a second commission. It should be able to give us Okay, should be able to give us a 6 million 829,200 francs. Okay, so after our second commission net, we should have our cash discount. So our cash discount, you see the cash discount was 5%, so we're going to have 5% for this amount. 5% of this amount should be able to give us, after my calculation, should be able to give us 341,000, 460 francs. 460 francs. So now we have a financial needs. Let's go ahead to our financial need. Our financial need should we'll be able to subtract. So we'll subtract financial need, we should be able to have. Our financial need should give us 6,487,000. 740. That's our financial need. Then after that we had transport. Here we're going to take 120,000 francs as our transport. Yes, we're going to have 120,000 francs as transport. And then let me continue up here. We're going to have our packages. Packages. We had packages concerned. We had 12,000. And then after that, we're going to have now a net amount payable. So it will sum from commission net. It will sum from commission net. It will sum from commission net. It will sum from here. Plus here, we're going to have a total amount of 6,619,740 francs. Okay, so this is our net amount payable on the invoice. Okay, and then after this now, the word required was, we had the word required. Now do the accounting recordings. Okay, so we're going to do now the accounting recordings. So for us to do the accounting recordings, we're going to go to the third board and try to do our recordings. Okay, so this is we're going to present our journal. Our journal will look like this. We're going to have our recordings in the journal. So remember, we're doing the presentation. We are going to do the presentation. Okay, we're going to do the presentation, the accounting recordings in the books of the supplier. So this is my journal that I'm presenting. So we have this. We have this. We have these. But we're going to go a little bit fast. So I'll just do the columns of amount. Okay, well now description. So we have the amount here on the credit, the amount on the debit. Okay, so we're doing the presentation, the accounting recordings in the supplier. So this is our journal. So the first thing we're going to do is that on the 30th of April. So we have this record on the 30th of April. On the 30th of April 2005, we are going to debit account 612, which is a transport paid on behalf of third party, and then we debit 571, and debit 571 with the amount. The amount of the transport on the invoice was 120,000. We have 120,000 here. And then we're going to have a description of the transport paid, okay? So on that same day, we're going to reckon out the invoice. So remember, the sales was first of all done by if we look at our invoice, the sales was all done on credit before we had this mode of payment. Okay, so let's first record it as a credit sales before we come to looking at how it was paid. Okay, so on that same day we had sales of good on credit. So I'm going to debit 411, and then with how much 411 should be. We record it at the second commission net. So the second commission net was 6 million. 6 million. So sorry, we record for 11 at the net amount payable, which was 6,619,740 francs. Okay, and then we had the discount that was given to the customer, 673 at how much? 341,460. And then we had our containers consigned for 12,000 francs. We also had credit 701. So the 701 is done at the second commission rate, which is 6,829,200 francs. And then we had our 7071, that's accessory revenue, 120,000 francs. 120,000 francs. Okay, so this is sales invoice number. You can sales invoice number that. Okay, so now we go to the same day. Now let's look on at the payment. Okay, let's try to record at the payment. I'll just say GO here to record the payment. I'm going to debit 571. Okay, 571. That was the payment that was done by cash. And there was also payment that was done by a bill of exchange. There was also payment that was done by check awaiting collection. So I will debit the 531. Then I'm going to credit our customer. So we're going to have this total amount 600 and this is the total amount 6,619,740 francs. So if we do our calculations, we're going to have by cash, we're going to have 1,654,935. We're going to have here by bill 3,309,870. So here we're going to have by check awaiting collection, we're going to have 1,654,935. So this is being payment. Being narration of being payment received from customer. Being payment received from customer. So I've done a rough calculation. If you check upon all this connection, 1/4 by cash, 1/4 by permission note, 1/4 by a check, we're going to have all this amount there. So this is we've come to the end of this presentation. If we add all these amounts, we're going to see that it will give us a total of 6,619,000. So thanks so much for being there, and I'll be waiting for your questions on this solution. Thank you so much for watching.